said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this edition of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, talk about liberty, talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that us Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day or a good week, wherever you're located in this great country of ours. All you have to remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 202 on the north side of 200. I am excited to see what God has plans. I am not going anywhere. I'm not going nowhere. I'm excited. I am blessed. I am just, it's wonderful to come here and spend some time with you. Every time I say thank you, you don't know how much you mean to me. A lot of people would say, well, Isaac, you're just saying that, for your audience to stay with you. No, that's not true. I've always had a passion for letting people know what was going on in the world. I've always, I guess you could say I just like to talk. And my wife tells me that all the time. You just talk way too much. But this podcast has given me an avenue to go ahead and voice my opinion, and for you, the listener, to go ahead and continue to stay with me. The ones that have followed me from the beginning, I appreciate y'all. My heart is with y'all today, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for what you're doing, for helping me spread the show out. And I just want to say thank you, and I'm praying that the Lord blesses you. With that being said, if this is your first time listening to the show, I hope you enjoy it. Go ahead, if you can, hit that follow button or that subscribe button, depending on the platform you're listening on. I know that the platforms that we are on, like YouTube and Rumble, one's a subscription, one's a follow. So go ahead and do that. Hit that subscribe button and follow button, and also go tell a friend. And if you want to go ahead and support the show in other ways, you can look into the description of this video. We have ways for you to support us and look at products that we have, or if you want to just help us out by giving us some support, let's say like that. And we're appreciated. We want to thank you for your support as always. And it takes a lot to run an episode, or a brother just searching show, or it just takes a little bit, and sometimes we need help. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the help that you have given us so far. Ladies and gentlemen, always a shout out to our great sponsor, Cajun Cards. Go ahead and check them out. 3023 Northwest Evangel 3. You're gonna hear the ad in a little bit before the second segment. If you need a golf cart or you need some repairs on your golf cart, call Cajun Cards, or go check them out on the web, CajunCards.com. Shout out as always to my good friend Mr. Warren, who makes our mugs for us here, and also some great wood designing. I always bring them out. M&W Laser Creations. Go check them out on Facebook. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start talking about, as always, the Bidens. We know now for a couple of months that the Republican Party has been looking into the Biden administration. And just to go back, a lot of Democrats are saying that this is conspiracy theories. This is just the Republicans trying to get back, because they legitimately went after Donald Trump with 2 impeachments. They're going after Donald Trump now legitimately. Like, nothing is political with them going after Donald Trump. Now, the Democrats could be right to some extent that the Republican Party is really after Biden because they don't want him to go into the White House. That could be true. I'm going to give some benefit of the doubt to leftists and liberals. But, ladies and gentlemen, I honestly think, and I'm starting to get to that point, the very first impeachment was to protect Biden and his family. And that's why they went after Donald Trump. Remember, the first impeachment was Donald Trump calling the new president at the time, Zelensky, and he was asking them if their government was investigating a company called Burisma, and that they were, he would like to see those investigations. And the Democrats, first off, right off the jump, would say, well, hold on, this is a quick pro quo, and Donald Trump is looking for political dirt on his chief political opponent. And I honestly think Donald Trump was really trying to get down to the bottom of something, but they were saying that Donald Trump was telling Zelensky they would not get the money if they did not get the information. It's kind of funny how Donald Trump still didn't get no information from Zelensky, and Ukraine got the money, which I'm still baffled of why America, even now with the Ukrainian war, why we're sending money to Ukraine, because it's not our country. I'm not against helping other nations. I'm not against helping our allies. But the thing of it is, the money that has been sent to Ukraine so far, just through this president, is outstanding. I can't believe that we have allowed this, as a nation, have allowed this. Now, some of the gravy train has stopped since the Republicans have taken office. But if you remember, the Democrats investigated Donald Trump. They were looking for they were looking for anything under a rock. They're still doing that now. We already mentioned the last show of how Donald Trump is the target of another investigation, and that 9 out of 10 another indictment is coming down. Every time, and one of my good friends, Barry Martin, also a guest host of this show, went ahead and commented on my show on Facebook the other day, and he said, they should be 4 or 5 or 6 more. Every time they have an indictment, the poll numbers go up, and that is true, because we see the hypocrisy that is going on. They want to go ahead and go after Donald Trump for the smallest things, but Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and all these other people get slaps on the wrist, and they don't have nothing. There's nothing done with it. Now we have the Republicans that are investigating, but unless it ends up in an impeachment, it really isn't going to go ahead and go anywhere. All they're trying to do is let the American people know that Biden is just not the most corrupt president in the world. He is the most compromised president in the world. Why do I say that? Well, a document was released Thursday by Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa. He went ahead and released an FBI-generated FD 1023 from legal protection, disclosed by the Justice Department whistleblower. He said in a statement that he released this document on Thursday, and this is the document that the Republicans have been trying to get for a long time. And this would prove that Joe Biden did not know about his son Hunter's dealings, but that he was also in part with the dealings. Now, then Vice President, this comes from the Daily Wire, then Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden allegedly coerced Burisma's co-founder and CEO into paying them millions of dollars each in exchange for pressuring the Ukrainian government to fire the prosecutor, Victor Sakin, who was investigating the country. So what is this about right here? Well, if you remember, I think it was maybe a few years before the election in 2020, before President Biden even ran. President Biden was at this conference or this some type of forum, and they were talking about him firing or him telling the Ukrainian government to fire a prosecutor that was looking into this company that Hunter Biden worked for. Now, Hunter Biden has no background in oil. Hunter Biden has no experience in the oil business, none whatsoever. I think a Cajun in the backwoods probably had more oil experience than Hunter Biden. Probably that backwoods Cajun, I guess you could say. I'm not trying to offend my Cajun family. I'm just trying to say somebody that's in Cajun land here in Louisiana would know more about oil, because we deal with oil on a regular basis. Some of my friends are offshore right now. They're working. Some of my kids I've seen growing up in youth group are working right now in the oil field. So they probably would have more experience, but they hired Biden, and according to Town Hall, the purpose they hired him in the text messages was because they had access to his daddy, not because he was smart or he was a good guy to work. They just had access to then Vice President Joe Biden. And they go ahead, and if you remember this forum, President Biden at the time, I think it was Vice President Biden or just regular Biden, I don't know, went ahead and made the statement, I told the Ukrainians to fire that prosecutor or they wouldn't get their money. And when they reply, well, that's not your call, that's the president. And he's like, call President Obama. I promise you, you won't get that money unless you fire that prosecutor. He said, well, son of a B, he went, the prosecutor got fired. And ladies and gentlemen, I still ask to this day, wasn't that a quick pro quo? We won't give you the money unless you do something for us. The same thing that they accused President Trump of doing back before, when the first impeachment came down, I believe in 2019 or close to 2020. But President then at the time, Biden went ahead and did this, and now we know through this document that this was Burisma, that this was acts by Burisma, and that the Bidens were paid, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, possibly about $5 million, according to this document 1023, the FD 1023. The CEO allegedly told the FBI confidential human source that during a meeting in August in 2016, it cost him $5 million to pay one Biden and $5 million to another. The CEO allegedly said that it was too late to change the decision, which CHS understood, and meaning that the CEO had already paid the Biden, presumably to deal with the prosecutor. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming out now that President Biden, remember President Biden and his White House have been saying that the president had nothing to do with the dealings of Hunter Biden. He didn't know. He didn't even talk to his son while his son was on the board on Burisma. But now we know through this document, through Chuck Grassley, that there was possibly a payout to get this prosecutor out of the way. Isn't that a quick pro quo? And also, now it makes some sense if Zelensky knows about this, why President Biden is probably shipping millions and millions of trillions of dollars, possibly, to Ukraine. Because, ladies and gentlemen, all Zelensky has to do is tell Biden, I need more money. Biden tells him no. The next thing we know, we're hearing from CNN, MSNBC, possibly. For sure, we would know Fox News, New York Post, the Daily Wire, that Zelensky drops an article or Zelensky drops some evidence that showed Biden is corrupt, but just not corrupt. He is compromised. Maybe this is why. Look, I'm not trying to throw on my conspiracy hat. I'm just thinking, because you wonder I've always said this when Biden says, hey, I'm going to send money to Ukraine, or I'm going to send money to this one and that one, what they have on him. This document that has been released on Thursday by Chuck Grassley, it is eye-opening. Also, I read in another article, and I can't remember where the article is, but they have, remember, the Burisma CEO has already said that he has recordings of 17 times, 2 talking to Joe Biden and 15 talking to Hunter Biden about this whole situation and them getting paid money. We talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen. Zelensky allegedly told CHH that no one would find out about his financial dealings with the Bidens. In 2019, the CEO told CHS that he did not send funds directly to the big guy, who CHS understand to mean be Biden. The CEO told that it would take investigations a decade to find alleged payments to Joe Biden. CHS told the FBI it was common for businessmen in post-Soviet countries to brag about making bribes, which are extremely common in Russia and Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but this is disturbing. That our president just isn't corrupt. He's also compromised. It is very disturbing. Now, Republicans have demanded answers because the White House have shifted the message on Biden's role in Hunter Biden's dealings. They said that he did not talk to him. Now they're saying that he just didn't have no business dealing. Now some Republicans are asking the questions, well, what did the president know and what didn't the president know? Because now we know through this document, which is done, it's by the FBI, that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden possibly did talk. We're going to say allegedly because you're proven until you're innocent until proven guilty. But now this has called onto the question. This is why I said in the first segment, early in the segment, that unless Biden is impeached, it really is just an investigation to show you, the American citizen, that you should vote for a Republican in 2024. And that could be DeSantis, that could be Trump, that could be Scott, that could be anybody. Because now these calls have come up, and this is a series of tweets that Republicans are starting to call for more of the impeachment of Joe Biden, and they should, ladies and gentlemen. Look, Democrats, you set the standards. Think about it. The Democrats set the standards. All Donald Trump did was make a phone call to Zelensky and asked him about the investigation. They accused Trump of not sending money to Ukraine unless he gets the information, and they had a whole impeachment trial and a whole impeachment proceedings because of one phone call. But President Biden, through this document, if true, took $5 million through ways of not being discovered. His son Hunter took $5 million. It is also, if the CEO of Burisma is correct, he has 17 audio files. This was spoken on the Senate floor by Chuck Grassley. If this is true, it shows that Joe Biden was in the midst of it. And look, it's funny how this comes out. They ask, hey, can you get rid of this investigation? Joe Biden calls whoever's in charge of Ukraine, tells him, you get rid of that prosecutor or we're not sending you money. Well, Isaac, he was vice president then. Give you the benefit of the doubt. He was vice president then. But he's the president now. And if Zelensky is using this to fund his war with Russia, that makes our president compromise. That makes our president, and look, that right there is an impeachable offense. We're seeing a true impeachable offense right now, but what will the Republicans do? There's still Republicans that are saying they are not going to impeach President Biden. And look, I was one of them at the beginning, because right when President Biden got in there, you had Marjorie Taylor Greene, you had all these other representatives coming right out the gate saying we need to impeach him, and President Biden didn't do nothing yet. But now that we know, now it's closer to election time, it's 1 year off, give or take, till election. We're in the middle of primary season. And ladies and gentlemen, the Republicans are just saying, we're going to wait until the election. No, act now. See, that's the problem with the Republicans. We're going to wait. We got to make sure. What more proof do we need? Impeachment process should start right now. Now, this isn't the only thing. Investigators obtained Biden's financial records showing transitions from Ukraine and Russia, the Oversight Chair Committee has said. Oversight Chair Committee James Comey, during an interview this week with congressional investigators, have obtained financial records that would allegedly show transitions from Russia to the Biden family. Comey made the remarks during an interview in this week's Senator Ted Cruz Verdict podcast, who co-hosts Ben Ferguson. I want to know what countries so far you can name for sure, said Ferguson, and there's one country that hasn't been talked about a lot, and that's Russia. Stay tuned, Comey responded. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's true, could Biden be compromised by Russia? Couldn't Russia or Vladimir Putin? See, remember, they were all talking about Trump. What does Vladimir Putin have on Trump? Remember, all through his presidency, Donald Trump is the puppet of Vladimir Putin. He has some naked pictures or something of Donald Trump that... But ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine, and they got transitions from Ukraine and Russia? Maybe this is why they did not want the Hunter Biden laptop out, which now we know through this week as well, that there is documents or a text message or email, whatever, I think it's an email. A senior FBI official allegedly informed Twitter that the obtained laptop believed to have belonged to Hunter Biden was real on the same day the New York Post broke the news about the device contents in the story that Twitter went on to censor. And we're going to be talking about censorship in a little bit in the second segment, according to a newly released testimony. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe this is why the government at that time? Oh, well, Isaac, hold on. That was Donald Trump's government. Yeah, but we already know through documents and the FBI that Twitter was, the Bidens reached out to big tech social media companies. Thanks to the Elon Musk Twitter dump that showed all this. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this segment, I just have to say, with the research that I have done into this crime, that Biden needs to be impeached. Not because I don't like him, because it's obvious in this show I do not endorse Biden or his family. But ladies and gentlemen, because this man could be a threat to our national security. Why do I say that? Because if he is compromised, we already know he's corrupt, but if he is being compromised, he is not looking for the best interest of this country. He is looking to the best interest of himself. He is trying to protect himself. He's trying to protect his image. His son got into shady business deals, and he was on this. Apparently, he didn't tell him, hey, I'm going to get you out of this, Hunter. He was like, hey, Hunter, I'm going along for the ride. I want a paycheck out of this. And through other documents, we know that the other Biden family members also cashed in on Hunter Biden's business dealings. Ladies and gentlemen, if the president is compromised, he will not make decisions based on America's best interests. It'll be on his best interests. And this is why I'm calling on Congress, the Republicans in Congress. Democrats won't vote for it. I'm calling on Republicans to do something and start impeachment process, like right now. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Cart, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Cards a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCards.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Cards when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. Again, episode 202. I like that. I like saying episode 202 because we're on the north side of 200. We get to go ahead and put those twos and the numbers after. And look, Brothers Just Searching is right behind them. I'm going to tell you, right behind this podcast. We're sitting at episode 168, going to be released this week. We're going to be filming 169. Got a great topic lined up. I'm not going to give you too much hints, though. I'm just excited because God is doing something here at BJS Media. I'm excited. We're growing. I'm giving him all the praise and the glory. So going back to my last segment before we move on to our next topic, I started thinking about something right after I got out the first segment. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, some of the Republicans might be telling me, Isaac, you're falling right into the Democrats' hands because they want Kamala Harris in there. And we know from the great late Rush Limbaugh, his prediction was that they would try to get rid of Biden right before the election or a little halfway through the election because they want Kamala Harris to have a possibility of having two terms. If Biden would have retired or something like that, they would have had to. Kamala Harris would have had to serve that whole term, and then she would have to run for another term, and she was done. If it goes about halfway, she's eligible for two terms. So that is a possibility. But some Republicans might say, Isaac, you're working right into the hands of the Democrat Party. If Biden leaves, they put Kamala Harris there, and Kamala Harris is worse than Biden. And Okay, I understand all that, but you can't let crime slide. And especially on the Democrat side, there's nobody above the law, not even the president of the United States. That's why they got 3 indictments on him, because according to some in the Democrat Party, that Biden, or close to 3 indictments, let's say it like that, that Donald Trump is evil, and Donald Trump needs to be judged for the crimes he committed on January 6th and the document case and whatever baloney that they come up with. So if that's the case, there's nobody above the law. Why it's okay for Biden to go ahead and do a quick pro quo, go ahead and have dealings with his son, and the Republican Party say, no, we're not going to deal with that. We're going to show the American people, we're going to let them vote in 2024. Your job is to represent the American people, and your job is you're supposed to go ahead and look for the best interests of the American people. And that's why I'm calling for impeachment, because I don't want a corrupt man in that White House. Now, I know all politicians are not squeaky clean, but it don't look like Biden was trying to stay squeaky clean. He looked like he was trying to go into the mud. And look, I'm going to go back to my roots. You know, when we were growing up, we would go ride 4-wheelers. And you know, on a 4-wheeler, it just ain't fun just riding on the dirt road. Because you're not getting that dirty. You have to find the biggest mud pit and ride your 4-wheeler in there. I remember for a youth event, seeing kids, and I brought that back to my memories. I had some of my youth kids. One of our parents built a mud pit, and them kids just kept on riding back and forth. Because hey, it was fun. And I'm not trying to call my youth kids or us, dirty, but that's what I feel Biden did. Biden's like, I'm not good as a politician. Let me get into some corrupt stuff, and went right into the mud pit. And ladies and gentlemen, this is like I said, this is scary, that we might have a president that isn't just corrupt, but he might be compromised. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, trial's date has been set in his classified document trial case. They went ahead and they put it, I believe, right in the middle of campaign season. That's right. A federal judge set the official date for the classified document case against former President Trump and his aide, Walt Neto. The trial will begin May 20th, 2024, and will be held in Fort Price Division of Florida. Judge Aldean Cannon said in the filing on Friday. Now, this comes after Donald Trump's legal team asked for a delay until after the election, because they said we're going to be elected. It's going to be chaotic because we're going to be running for president. We're going to be all over the country. Can we have that time? Now, the prosecutor, Jack Smith, who has indicted Donald Trump once and is probably looking to indict him again, went ahead and his team asked for the trial to be done this December. And like the Trump team said, hold on, how we're going to go ahead and prepare for a trial when you just indicted him? So the trial has been set and it's right dab into the middle of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole case is benefiting the Democrat Party, whoever's going to run for president, whoever's going to win for the nominee. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and look, also the Republican Party, because you got Donald Trump got to stay in Florida probably until this trial's done. And this gives the opportunity to the Republicans to campaign without any backlash from Donald Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call this a coup. It didn't matter if it was in December, in May, or after the election. It would put a stain on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's in a White House. They're probably gonna have pictures, those painted pictures, because you can't allow cameras into a federal building. But they're gonna have those painted pictures, and they're gonna have Donald Trump sitting down with a big boudet face, and this is all to make Donald Trump look bad for the election. Now, we know, and I don't get why the left continues doing it, but we know that every time they come up with another indictment, they come up with another false accusation or something like that. Every time the left throws a punch at Donald Trump, he gets back up and he's ready to go again, and the poll numbers go up. I said that in the last episode, that when I saw the article that he was the target of the next indictment, or the next investigation, I was like, man, I'm starting to lean towards more Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is getting attacked so much by the left that you wonder what he has on these people, or what's going to happen. Now, my fear is that if Donald Trump would win, he would not use his presidency for the best of the country, but it would be a revenge presidency where, hey, I'm going to take this one, they're gone. Now, I don't know if that's Donald Trump's intention. I hope it's not Donald Trump's intentions, because we need a president that has his mind set on America. And look, like I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of things why I don't support Trump in this primary season, but we will see what happens. And look, like I've always said, I always make this disclaimer because I know there's a lot of conservatives out there that will say, Isaac, you're going against the former president. How dare you? No, Donald Trump is my number 2 guy. I'm not gonna criticize Donald Trump unless he needs to be criticized. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not against Donald Trump running for president. I do think they're going after him because it's all political. It isn't like us that have proof that Biden, and I say us, I mean the Republican Party, they have proof, the Republicans have proof that Biden did do something, and they're just shooting in the wind. It's funny how Donald Trump can't leak any evidence or can't go ahead and say anything, but Jack Smith releases all kind of stuff. It's just ironic. It's weird. All right, so Robert F. Kennedy went to Washington the other day, and it wasn't to be sworn into the White House. It was to talk about censorship. We already know that Robert F. Kennedy is being censored by some big tech media because he has some views on vaccinations. He has some views on a few things, and according to big tech, that is not right. You can't go ahead and talk about that. And ladies and gentlemen, it was kind of ironic. And according to this article from the Daily Wire, Dems try and failed to censor RFK at censorship hearing. House Democrats tried and failed to censor Robert Kennedy Jr., a Democrat Party candidate for president, at a hearing on censorship. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz from Florida moved to shift the select subcommittee on the weaponizing of the federal government hearing on Thursday to exclusive session because Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly made disposable, anti-Semitic, anti-Asian comments as of recently of last week. The Congresswoman quoted a House rule against testimony that may tend to defend, degrade, or incriminate any person, which would allow the committee to determine whether to allow the testimony at issue during the open hearing. In making her case, Wasserman Schultz talked about, amongst many other things, comments Kennedy recently made about COVID-19, which the candidate says he may have misconstructed. So Debbie Washington Schultz went ahead and did all kind of things, said some things, and by 10-8 vote, the GOP majority motion to table successful, allowing the hearing to continue as planned. When he voted in favor of proceeding, she said yes to not censor. Some Democrats also tacked on the comment to their vote, including Representative Gary Conley, who said no to the sovereign prohibitable or something like that. No hate speech. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said, so Robert F. Kennedy went to Capitol Hill to talk about censorship, and the Democrat Party, while there, is trying to censor Robert Kennedy. Now, this isn't the only person that is trying to shut up Robert Kennedy. We know that his cousin, the grandson of John F. K, has said that he needs to go ahead and stop and just endorse Biden because Biden apparently is the guy that you need to have into the White House, and we know probably not. But ladies and gentlemen, they have censored Robert Kennedy. Now, Robert Kennedy made a claim later on that day that Donald Trump even tried to censor him on social media. I don't know how true that is. When I went and read the article, that's why I didn't put it in my notes. It just feels comfortable to read. I think we should mention it here. that he did mention Donald Trump was censoring. I don't know how Donald Trump censored him. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has not had no contact with the big tech media. That's more of a Democrat thing if you think about it. But yeah, so why they're trying to censor Robert Kennedy? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I learned if you go against the narrative, it don't matter if you're part of the same party, they're going to try to censor you. And ladies and gentlemen, Robert F. Kennedy is going against the grain here. I heard his opening statement a little bit, and he didn't read the written statement that he released to the press before, or Congress released, and he reads. He said this. He said, "Look, I say something and they censor me." And the First Amendment protects my right to speech, and he's correct. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, he's going against the grain. Robert F. Kennedy talked in his overstatement about inflation, Americans not having jobs, and things that American citizens right now are having trouble with. We talked about the Biden economics on the last episode, and how Biden is going around the nation bragging that he has one of the best economies ever as a president, and we know that's full of baloney. He says wages are high, and wages are really down from when Trump was in office. The Dow and the Wall Street has just been going down, and it hasn't been going up. It's been going down. I heard Joy Behar the other day, and we're gonna talking about that right here. They were having a discussion, and Joy Behar was bragging about Biden, how gas prices are down, the inflation is going down. Oh, Biden this, Biden that, and Joy Behar from The View was trying to make Biden out to be the savior of America. But the problem is that, yeah, inflation has gone down. You cannot deny the fact the numbers have come in, and inflation is sitting around 6%, give or take. But this came from a high of 9.1, and where we had a president that had it at sitting at 1.2. But Joe Behar, the president is to be praised. He brought down inflation. He brought down gas prices after hitting record highs. It's like me causing a problem and saying, I'm going to clean it up. And I clean it up halfway. Oh, you cleaned up the problem. Yeah, but I caused the problem. See, they don't look at that. And Biden says, we're doing the Biden economics from the ground up and from inside out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they don't like Robert Kennedy, because Robert Kennedy is using the talking points of the conservatives. High inflation, no jobs, this and this. And people are starting to resonate with Robert F. Kennedy. I have a good friend that is a diehard Republican, told me that if it came down to Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy, that probably he would vote for Robert Kennedy because he likes what he says. Even my good friend Scott Ford on this program said he likes a couple of things that Robert F. Kennedy has said. I listen to Robert F. Kennedy, and I'm saying I can agree with him on that. And I've talked to my brother, Anthony Hayes, co-host of Brothers Just Searching. He even said this. He said Robert F. Kennedy is the way of the old Republican, of the old Democrats, which is now like a moderate conservative. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they're afraid. This is why they're trying to censor Robert Kennedy. It's not because that he said something ironic or stupid. He's saying the facts, and he's a threat to Joe Biden. See, if he was not a threat to Joe Biden, they would let him talk. They would let him do whatever. But because he's a threat to Joe Biden, they want to get him out the way. They want to censor him. They're trying to use the techniques that they used on Donald Trump. This is why I honestly think that Robert F. Kennedy is the Donald Trump of the Democrat Party. Will he beat Joe Biden? There is a possibility, but we know from the DNC and their operation that they are corrupt and they put whoever they want in there. We have the Bernie Sanders of the last two elections. Remember, Bernie Sanders ran for president. And Bernie Sanders got cheated out of the 2016 primary session. Had more votes from the regular people, but the super delegates that the Democrats go ahead and put out, they go ahead and they put Hillary Clinton. And we saw the same thing with Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders was popular amongst the people of America, the socialistic people of America. he was getting votes and votes and votes and votes and votes, and all of a sudden they got Joe Biden in there because Bernie Sanders backed off and they paid Joe something. Now, and like I said, it's an uphill battle for Robert F. Kennedy. But you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, the poll hasn't come out in a while. This is about a year old. Remember, 80%, close to 80% of Democrats said they wish Biden wouldn't run and they could vote for somebody else. Robert F. Kennedy is talking on the issues while Biden is not even talking at all. They at Air Force One. They're making sure the steps ain't too high so he don't fall. I'm waiting for them to bring out a portable elevator to go up to Air Force One and say it's more convenient for the president. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they're stopping. And look, this ain't just a Robert Kennedy. I talked about The View. Joe Behar, the comment she made was because her co-host, Allison Farrell Griffin, talked about how she could not support Donald Trump, but at the same time, she could not support Joe Biden. And Joe Behar had her cassons in a bunch. And saying, why not Joe? Why not Joe? And she went and look, Griffin on The View should not be on The View to begin with. She's a conservative, but I learned from the Jason Aldean incident that she's more left-leaning than right-leaning. She calls herself a Republican, but the Republicans will call her a rhino. That's why she's on The View, because she's a conservative, but she's not a conservative. But when she made the statement, Joe Behar bit her head off. Why? Because Joe Behar wanted her to be a conservative saying, I'm voting for Joe Biden. That would have made the news all over the place that Griffin would have went ahead and agreed with The View and that Joe Biden would be a better president than Donald Trump. And she said, no, I don't like any one of them. And ladies and gentlemen, Joe Behar, as I said earlier, talked about the economy and everything, trying to convince this woman. So it's just not Robert Kennedy that if you go against the grain, well, Isaac, hold on, Griffin's a conservative. No, she's not. She's a left-leaning conservative or a left-leaning Republican. I'm not going to put conservative in her name. But it's funny how when you go against the grain or you go against the left-leaning establishment, you're censored. You're shut up. They try to cancel you, whatever term you want to put it into. They try to stop you, and this is what's happening to Robert Kennedy. And apparently, Robert Kennedy don't know why they're doing this, but I know why they're doing it. They're trying to shut him up. Now, on the race of the Democrat ticket, remember Biden and the DNC already said they're not going to support a Democratic debate, so you won't be able to hear Robert F. Kennedy bring out the points that he's bringing out into the statements on Capitol Hill. You're not gonna hear unless you go to a RFK rally and hear these points. But ladies and gentlemen, I talked about this the other day and thinking about it on top of my head. Robert F. Kennedy, if he loses the Democratic primary, will he run as an independent? Like I said, you had a poll a while back that said close to 80% of Democrats said they don't want Joe Biden in there. Could you imagine the ruckus that's going to happen if he runs as a third party? It's the same thing with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump would run as a third party candidate, that would throw havoc on this election. But ladies and gentlemen, Robert F. Kennedy is well known. And if he takes 20% of his supporters, that was the last poll, because they're not doing a lot of polls on the Democrat side, because apparently they think Joe Biden is the meal ticket and he's going to go ahead and carry the Democrat Party, which he can't carry halfway himself. You know, he always has to have somebody leading him somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert F. Kennedy is a thorn in the Democrat side, and he's all over the media. He's not this one third-party candidate that just stays in the shadows and says, "Oh, I'm running for president. I'm a presidential candidate," and still goes on Fox News or something. Once Democrat presidential candidate. No, he's in the running, and the Democrats know if they don't shut him up or make him look bad somewhere, he might beat Biden without a debate. That would be funny. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Kart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Karts, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Kart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Karts a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCarts.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Karts when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of this edition of the Cajun Conservative Show. Again, as I said in the first segment, thank you for standing by me, standing with me, I guess you could say, just following this journey to wherever God leads us. That's the good thing about following the Lord. A lot of people's like, well, you have a blind faith. I tell you one thing, I know this road leads to heaven some way or another. I'm going to heaven. I talked to my good friend Eli Yoder the other day. We was talking, and Eli Yoder's an influencer on TikTok, great man of God. And I sent him a video of us on Brothers Are Searching, and my good friend and co-host Bowen Roban started talking some Cajun French. And I put that on TikTok, and I sent him. I said, dude, you gotta watch this. And he said, man, y'all just so joyful. And I said, that's the joy of the Lord in our heart. And always, every time I mention that, it reminds me of the Oklahoma Sooners softball players that said, we can win championships, but if we don't have the joy of the Lord, it don't mean nothing. And that's the same thing. Tomorrow I could get a phone call, and this could be one of the national surrogated radio shows or some type of big form podcast, and I could go ahead and have everything in the world. I could have a Corvette, a Ferrari, a Taurus, or whatever. I could have a multi-million-dollar home. But if I don't have the joy of the Lord in my heart, it's going to be vanity. I like how Proverbs said, I think it was Proverbs. Yeah, some of the Proverbs talking about vanity. He said all is vanity. And look, I'm not talking about not striving to what you want in life. I think you should, but at the same time, one day you're gonna die. You're gonna go ahead and go into the ground, and everything you have accomplished will be left to your family. And the Bible does say leave an inheritance to your family. I'm not against that. But what happened between the dash? I hear a lot of preachers say that, on a gravestone, there's only a little dash in between the dates you were born and when you passed on. What that little dash is going to represent. And me personally, like I said, I really want this podcast to grow. Why? Because I think I can influence people in the right way. But at the same time, Jesus is my king. And if I don't have the joy of the Lord, whatever I accomplish here with this media company or with these two podcasts that we have and helping others, if I don't have the joy of the Lord, or I don't have to put the Lord first in my life, it won't mean nothing. But thank God, like I said, I'm going as the song by Walt Mills says, I'm on my way to heaven, and the journey gets sweeter every day. I just got to put my faith and trust in Jesus. And I was not planning on opening this third segment with an encouraging message or me preaching, some people might say. But I'm excited. The Lord has great things for us, and I love every single one of you guys once again. Let's talk about Fox News a little bit. Now, on disclaimer, I use Fox News. I'm going to use Fox News in a minute. And Fox News has been a great avenue for conservatives. But of lately, they have been doing stuff that have made me wonder about the whole corporation in general. Now, this comes from former Fox News anchor Todd Stearns, and this was reported. He reports an article that was done by the Blaze Media, which is run by Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck was part of Fox News for a number of years. He was a contributor there. Fox News has been having a shakeup. They fired Tucker Carlson. Rivera has been stepped down, which he went on The View a while back and bashed Fox News. But conservatives, the Blaze Media and others are pretty concerned what's happening at Fox News, because the Fox News organization is subsidizing radical left-wing organizations. The company owned by the Murdoch family, this is from Todd Stearns, matches donations up to $1,000 to various organizations approved on the Fox Giving app. According to the Blaze Media report, Fox is matching donations to satanic temples, atheistic leftist group, atheist group that hands satanic literature to children and platforms, religious abortion rituals, and travel programs. The LGBT organization Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion provider in the United States, and Sudden Poverty Law Center, a radical hate group that defames conservatives. Now, this is the problem with this right here, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at Fox News publish, and their biggest audience is to conservatives. And it'd be like this, okay? And I'm gonna use my show for example, the Cajun Conservative. Imagine me, the Cajun Conservative. I come on this program and I talk about, conservatism and how conservative is the way to go. But y'all find out I went ahead and donated to the ACLU. Would you listen to me, or would you go ahead and take my advice or my point of view, will you value my opinion in any way, shape, or form if you go ahead and heard that I am donating to a left-leaning organization? And even that, look, y'all know me. I am a strong advocate for pro-life. I think abortion is wrong. But would you really be upset if my financials come back and y'all say, hold on, Isaac donated to a candidate that believes in abortion, or he donated to Planned Parenthood? And I think that's the point where Fox is right here. Now, granted, Fox's news hosts, Guthrie, Waters, Ingram, Hannity, all the other ones on there are probably conservative, and they go ahead and they give their conservative view. And props to Fox News for not censoring that. But the way that the Murdoch family's doing, they're donating to all these people, but their hosts are saying it's wrong. Why would Fox News donate to left-leaning organizations that does not pertain to their view? Because the younger Murdochs are left-leaning. If you remember when Roger Ailes left the scene and the older Murdoch, the father, took over as CEO, a lot of things started changing around Fox News. Now, what Roger Ailes did to get people into their positions was wrong. It is a proven fact. But Roger Ailes was more along the lines of conservatism, and that's why Fox News grew, because Roger Ailes went ahead and made sure Fox News stayed on the conservative side. But the Murdochs are, and I say this, look, I'm worried about Fox News. I use Fox News almost all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, Fox News is slowly moving on to a left-leaning platform. And and look, now this does open up doors for like Daily Wire, The Blaze, and Newsmax and other networks to gain those audience. That's why Newsmax has been growing in the cable news arena. But ladies and gentlemen, this right here bothers me because it's hypocrisy at its finest. And who would I say that about most? The Democrats. But the Murdoch family is like, yes, we hold to conservative Christian values, but they're handing out satanic literature to children, or they're giving money to organizations. Now, the Murdochs might not know they're doing this. It might be somebody in Fox. You can give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But ladies and gentlemen, isn't it kind of ironic that they're doing this? We already know the Murdochs are more left-leaning. I don't know what their Christian values are. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have a whole network based on conservative Christian values and you're donating to somebody else that is not in the Christian realm, is dangerous. That is my opinion. And look, are you going to stop using Fox News? Probably not, because they got some good articles and some of their writers are really good. But ladies and gentlemen, it's dangerous. And Fox News really needs to have a wake-up call. Because I know there's a lot, especially after Tucker left, a lot of people were just there for Tucker. And it didn't help. You know, that Jesse Waters, the one that took the time slot, gets advice from his mama, and his mama saying, don't get fired, son. Listen to your bosses. I think that turned off conservative, but since Tucker left, it's not the same. And look, I'm not against Jesse Waters. I like Jesse Waters. I hear his commentary all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, Fox News is deep in, and they need to get out real quick. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about the new Jason Aldean song again. Like I know you might be saying, Isaac, you put out a solo YouTube video on this. You put out a solo TikTok on this. Why are you bringing this up? Because I want to show you some of the reactions on the left. And this comes from, you guessed it, The View, which, like I said, I don't know why these ladies are on TV. Whoopi, or Goofy, Whoopi's an actor, okay? I think she was in Toy Story 3, and she's a good actor. If I'm not mistaken, she was in Sister Act. If I'm not mistaken, that could have been her. I believe that was Whoopi. As an actor, I'm not against Whoopi. I'm not against. Look, all the ladies on The View, they have the opportunity to voice their opinion. Like myself, I have the opportunity to voice my opinion on this show. And I'm grateful that Anchor has made a way for me to do. Well, I say Anchor. Spotify for podcasters have done this. They have made it a way to where we can go ahead and get our voices out there, our opinion out there. I'm on a number of platforms. So I know that you can voice your opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, sometimes these opinions just don't. I don't get this. Before I get into that, though, Jason Aldean's song, last time I looked on YouTube, his music video was seen over 11 million times. Also his song has hit iTunes #1 chart. I didn't hear nothing from Spotify or anything like that, but I'm granted that probably they have number of plays on Spotify, Pandora, and all these music streaming platforms. But at least on YouTube, 11 million people, or and I say 11 million people, 11 million views on that video. And I even said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The reason the left don't like this is because I think that proves that there's more conservatives living in this country than we're led on to believe. 11 million, it has hit the #1 charts. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm flabbergasted. Also, all these people that say, and we're going to talk about Whoopi, Joy, and Griffin, and Sunny Hostin. We're going to talk all about them in a little bit, but they can't stand that. They can't stand that this song is reaching. And also they say it's violence. Oh, this song is promoting violence, but there's rap songs that are more violent than this song. I was hearing a commentary this morning by Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh played a rap song that was way more violent than Jason Aldean's song. And ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how the left is reacting to this song. And look, still trending. My solo TikTok that I've done has over 1,000 views. It's 1.2 thousand views on it. And it's still being watched, and people are still reacting to the Jason Aldean incident. Now, we heard from Jason Aldean and all that, how he said this is everything on the song that the left is accusing him of is meaningless, is baseless, and he hasn't called for no racism. But The View, of course, in a viral story like this Jason Aldean song, went ahead and talked about it on their show, and Whoopi unleashed on the country music star Jason Aldean, noting that the critics have said that the lyrics to his new song are racist, and argue that Black Lives Matter rioters were only taking care of their towns when they looted and destroyed businesses. I'm going to quote Whoopi. She made the comments during the Thursday broadcast of The View, following controversy of the most recent release to his song Try That in a Small Town. She went ahead. He's talking about people taking care of each other, and I find it so interesting that it never occurred to Jason or the rioters that's what those folks were doing. Goldberg insisted They were taking care of people in their town because they didn't like what they saw, just like you're talking about people taking care of each other in a small town. We do the same thing in big towns. So Whoopi's argument is, Jason, you're talking about people taking care of people. But that's what was happening in the summer of love in 2020. You know, when people said they were peacefully protesting and buildings were burning down behind reporters. And that they were taking care of their people because they saw something they didn't like. Whoopi, there's a big difference with standing outside in a picket line with a sign saying we don't like how George Floyd was treated at on a traffic stop, and going to a city and burning down buildings and looting stores. Could you imagine that small business owner sitting in their store and a looter comes in and says, listen, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm not taking nothing in this store for myself. I'm doing this to better the community because I don't like police brutality. I'm a small business owner. Somebody comes to, I'm like, you're not taking care of my community. You're stealing from me. But according to Whoopi, that is big cities taking care of each other, going and looting and going and taking away. And Jason Aldean, you know, talking about taking care of people. That's what they were doing in the BLM riots. That's what they were doing in the summer of love of 2020. They were just taking care of their community. Now, this is a baloney argument. These people were not worried about the community or the death of George Floyd. They were worried about themselves. It's ironic that these people were thinking about the community while pulling out a 75-inch television set and bringing it to their house and probably watching it till this day. But Goopy, new nickname, Goopy, Whoopi, which is Goofy, went ahead and made this claim that Jason Aldean he misunderstood the BLM riots, you know, because he probably, in her mind, she thinks he's a dumb hick from Georgia. Goopy. I need to start calling it Goopy. Goldberg again accused Jason Aldean of making the song a commentary about Black Lives Matter, despite the fact that the group was not mentioned once. Yeah, she goes ahead and says that this song was all about Black Lives Matter. This is why it's racist, ladies and gentlemen, because he came against Black Lives Matter. Ladies and gentlemen, the song did not mention Black Lives Matter once. It talked about crime. And if you look at the footage on Whoopi's defense, or in Jason Aldean's defense, most of the footage showed white people spitting in cops' faces and giving them the double barrel finger. Go watch the video. When it shows the riot, it shows more white people than it does black people. Co-host Allison Griffin followed Goldberg, noting that there were two sides of the issue, and suggested that while Aldean may have not meant the song to be taken the way it has been taken, the lyrics did remind her of white people chasing down black people in the streets. No, it did not. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is why, look, I just defended Griffin in the last segment. Somewhat. But ladies and gentlemen, she's fitting in the narrative right here. I don't think Jason Aldean thought that it would be racist, but that's how, when I heard the song, I thought about all the mean white people that go after the black community and that are racist. The song did not mean that. The song did not mean that whatsoever, but Griffin, who is supposed to be, with air quotes, the conservative of the program, is lining up with the left. She's not a true conservative. Now, Behart also went ahead and talked about this because she talked about the censorship. She don't think that Jason Aldean should be censored, but she believes that it's more diverse of separating big city and small city. There's no reason to separate big city people from small city people, co-host Joe Behart said. That, to me, is the diverse part of the song. I mean, it is deplorable. It's a deplorable song, and it's annoying. No, see, that's the thing. Country music, I listen to some, but not all. Country music they have a lot. They have a lot of creativity. This song was full of creativity. It had great lyrics. It had great melodies. It had a great guitar solo. But to her, it's annoying. No, because you know why? And look, this is the diverse thing. She just proved Jason Aldean's point. Big city people think us in the country, because yes, I have a cowboy hat now. We listen to some country songs. We live in the country. We work hard. To Joe Behar, we're nothing but some country hicks. And we're annoying. She just said it's deplorable and annoying. Also possibly because Jason Aldean is also a Trump supporter. Got a gun that my grandpa gave me. They said one day they're going to round it up. Well, that, SHIT might fly in the city. Good luck. It's very diversity, provocative, but I defend his right to do this video. That's the only point I agree with Joe Behar. And even Wolfie said that it was right that he goes ahead and has his view. Now, Behar asked co-host Sonny Holston if she believed the music. She believed his music shouldn't be censored. Now, this goes to another point because earlier in the conversation, Allison, Ferris was saying something like she had to give Aldean the benefit of the doubt. Sonny Holston weighed in later saying that she could not give Aldean the benefit of the doubt because she has visited the hometown Malcolm, Georgia, his hometown. She believes it to be a racist town. And she explained a story about her mom and dad being kicked out by the KKK. She also said, as a lawyer, when I put my legal hat on, I don't believe in censorship. However, this man is from Malcolm, Georgia. My father from Agassiz, Georgia, and Malcolm, Georgia. I spent my summer there. It is one of the most racist places in this country. So don't tell me that he knew nothing about what is imaginable meant. So I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sonny Holston, a host of a midday TV show, said Jason Aldean is racist, not because he made a statement of him being racist or has done something that made him look racist. No, but because he comes from a small town in Georgia that she's familiar with, and she feels the town is racist, so that makes Jason Aldean racist. This is the argument they're giving for this song. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I talked about this song at length on the third segment on the last episode. Sonny Holston just told the world that Jason Aldean is racist because he comes from a small town in Georgia. Now, the story about her parents, it was heartbreaking. I watched it. I watched the clip where she talked about it. Her mom was in the audience. It was a heartbreaking thing. But because a man comes from that town does not mean he's a racist. But according to The View, and all the women of The View, I'm even going to throw Griffin in there, all those women think Jason Aldean is racist because he talked about having a gun that was given from his grandfather, and that things would not fly in a small town like it would in a big town, or because he put footage up there of riots. Or that he don't understand big town people, that rioting and looting is really taking care of your city. How stupid. I'm going to say it like that because I was trying to say hypocrisy. Hypocritical. But how hypocritical and how stupid. We can throw both words in there. Joy Behar saying he's separating big town people and small. Ladies and gentlemen, they still haven't proven the point that Jason Aldean's a racist or that song was racist. Ladies and gentlemen, I showed people this song. Look, there's black commentators out there that are saying, look, there was four guys that were sitting in a room. All of them are part of all four of them are black. They watched the song and they were getting mad because CMT pulled this song. Number of influencers that are black have said there's nothing racist in this song, but you have these women that don't know anything saying, oh, yes, he's racist because he's coming against big people, big town people and small town people. He comes from this town, that means he's racist. In this whole segment, they did not prove nothing. They did not prove anything. But according to Sonny Holston, he's racist because he comes from a small town in Georgia that threw my family out because of their bigotry. I don't even know Jason Aldean was there. But ladies and gentlemen, it goes to the point. And like I said, it's not about violence. It's not about racism in this song. It's not about that. He showed that he showed how the summer of love, as they say it, was really bad, and it really hurt people. And it put the Democrat Party in a bad light. And that's why we need to not listen to the song. Not because it is racist or violent, because there's other rap songs by other artists that are way more violent. It's because he came against the narrative, and he's an artist that everybody knows and everybody's going to listen to him. And it makes the Democrat Party, and it makes the BLM riots and the BLM organization look bad. That's why they did this. With that being said, it's time to end the show. I want to thank you, as always, for listening to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Please, again, hit the subscribe or follow button, depending on the platform you're listening on. We're on various platforms, audio and visual. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tell your friends and your family about this show. Let's spread the word of conservatism all over this nation. With that being said, if you want to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, because he is the King of Kings, he is Lord of Lords, and he's coming back one day. He's coming back real soon. So for you to get to heaven, you have to know him. Again, if you want to know him, please reach out to me. I will tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged, and stay calm, because Jesus has everything under control. Until next time, be blessed. Bye-bye.
And he is the open door.